And hello again, and here we are back in my garage working on the Z650/1170 project. And today we're going to do a few sort of small jobs that need to be done before I can take the bodywork off to be painted next month. But before that, I want to do some work on the exhaust system. We left it last time round whereby I had the collector extended by about 2.5 inches to clear the rear swing arm. And it all seemed to work okay, but I did think maybe I wanted to raise up the angle of the exhaust pipe a wee bit. So that's what I want to do today. So first of all then, I've got to roll the bike out on the drive out there, where I think it's just about to rain. But I can't wait, got to get moving, so let's get the bike out there and get started. And now here we are again outside. It's just starting to rain, so let's be very quick. But what we've done here is we've cut the end of the collector box off. This is this bit here, and this in turn has been reduced down by about 30mm. Then put it back in the silencer. In fact, now I can't get it out, it's so in there so tight. And we've marked off some index points so I can work out how far to rotate this piece before we weld it back onto the collector. It's going to be the height I want. It's quite tricky to do because I'm trying to do everything in one go, but I think we're getting close now. So if I now something a bit more jaunty, a bit more aggressive, I think that might work quite well. So now I've got to take it all off and get these two parts welded back together again. That is once I can take this damn thing out of the silencer, because it's right now it's jammed in really tight. So I think I might have to take the whole thing to Jeff the welder and he can help me separate them. And now here we are back in the garage again, and just typical, the rain's just stopped and I think the sun's coming out, but there you go. So next up then is to work on the two elements of the bodywork that I've not yet got fitted to the bike. And the first one of those is here behind me, and this is the front mudguard. Now this front mudguard is from a Yamaha XJR 1300, and the front end of that bike is very similar to a Yamaha XJR 1300, although it is from an R6, not an XJR. But when we tried to fit it to the front end there, it turned out that Yamaha in their wisdom changed the mounts on those forks from those of a XJR by about 8mm, for God's sake, so it wouldn't go on as is. So now what I've got to do is work out a way of mounting it and make some kind of brackets to make sure this fits on those forks. And so I've now got bolts in the rear two mounts of the mudguard, and at the front here you can see the problem. The hole for the mudguard is maybe, I don't know, 5mm out from the mount on the fork leg. There's also a gap which I've measured at around 18mm, or in fact 17.9mm, we'll call that 18. So now I've come up with some sort of design to bridge that gap and sort of mount the mudguard to the fork. And my first idea was just to get a big block of aluminium and carve it out, drill 2 holes in it, and away we go. But I think now maybe I'll just keep it a bit simpler and make a bracket, just make a little bent bit of metal, a bit of stainless steel perhaps, and that might do it. Be a kind of U shape, but I'm not sure yet, I'm not sure. And so the final piece of the bodywork jigsaw is this cockpit fairing, originally made for a BMW R90S. Now I have tried it on before, and I did notice that on full lock, this edge here at the back, these lower edges were just kissing the side of the tank. So we do know that this area here has to be removed. I'll have to cut it off, shape it, and then we'll be okay. But the good news is, outside here now, the rain stopped, the sun's kind of come out, so I'll just wheel it outside now, and that gives a lot more room to see what's going on. And in fact I've had a few viewers say to me, don't fit this cockpit fairing, you'll ruin the bike, it won't look right. And equally I've had people saying to me, oh yeah, you've got to fit it, looks just like Mad Max or the earlier Aussie film Stone, which is a great film by the way. The problem I've got is, if I don't fit this thing, then the front end's a little bit empty. Normally you get these 2 big pods on a Z, and mine's just got 1 little one. Now it serves the same function, it's got all the kit in it, it's all full electronic, speedo, tacho, everything. It just looks a little bit lost there, doesn't it? And now I've just had a chance to study the film I've just taken of me trying out the cockpit fairing on the front of the bike, and I must say I'm now having second thoughts about using it, because it does seem awfully big on the front end, and I've not yet fitted the big screen that goes with it too. so I'm a bit concerned it might sort of look a bit oversized on the bike. It's a pity I can't buy the new Z900 RS fairing, because I think that's really cool and would work quite well on the front of my bike. But having seen the price of them, if you go and buy it from your local Kawasaki dealer with all the mounts and so on, which actually I won't even use, it's over £1,000. And so far I've not found any aftermarket company who makes a sort of cheap replica. So I think we'll go and haul for that. If I don't fit it, it'll save me an awful lot of time and an awful lot of effort. A little bit cheaper for the overall paint job. Yeah, so that's what's going on at the moment. I will have to now go away and work out how to make a bracket to mount that front mudguard. And I must say I'm quite happy with it. Works quite well with the bike, I think. A bit retro, because obviously an XJR13 is a bit retro. Yeah, overall pretty happy with it. I've still got some nuts and bolts to buy. I've just got these new ones here, they're not quite on there yet because the threads are covered in fiberglass, I think, so I've got to re-tap that. Yeah, so it's getting there, it's getting there. What I'm also going to do is hold off having the 4-into-1 collector welded up for the last time, because I'm going to wait until I've got the new hangers fitted to the bike, get the pegs back on, and make sure I've got no clearance issues with my heel and my feet and so on, because I don't want to redo the welding again. And now here we are, a few days later, and I finally picked up the new brackets from Jeff. Now, these are the old ones here, quite small, fully polished, but sadly they can't be used because he put the pegs too low. So instead we've got these much bigger ones, longer ones here, which look, well, not too good at the moment, do they? Because they're just like straight off the miller, not been shaped yet, still need a lot more work. So yeah, they do look a little bit, well, not too good at the moment. But what I'm going to do now is just fit them temporarily. So that will go there. Put the pegs on, sit on the bike, make sure I'm happy with the running position. I should be, because I've already checked it out once. Once that's done, I can make sure that the new position I've got in mind for this silencer is going to work with the pegs nearby. And so there's the brake side done. I must say it's quite an ugly looking bracket, isn't it? But don't worry, we'll shape it all, make it look a lot neater, and then when it's all anodised black, I think it'll just merge in with the bike and won't look such an eyesore. My first try on the bike with those new much higher pegs, and hopefully it won't be too uncomfortable for me. But I am used to resets, so hopefully we'll be okay. Oh yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's a touring bike, but yeah, that's not really a problem. Yeah. So now, let me go back and see how the exhaust system looks in the position that I want it to be. Now I've got the pegs in place. And so to clear the new peg and the lever, I've just had to dial it down a little bit and not have it quite so high on the bike. Only by a little bit, only by a little bit. So now tomorrow I can go and see Jeff the welder, take this and this, get it all welded up for the last time, and then get it on the bike and see how it looks. And now here we are, it's next day, and today I picked up this 4-into-1 collector from Jeff the welder, who's now fully welded this extension, and we've also tilted this part up to give a better angle on the silencer. So let's get that fitted and see how it looks on the bike. I think that's about right now. So that's now hanging down with the weight. Plenty of clearance, as you can see, but the actual position will be much higher than that. It'll be kind of like that, something like that, I think. I get enough room beneath my feet, that's fine. So now what I've got to do is work out a way of making a bracket to go from here to here. Okay, so I managed to find an old bungee cord, which is about the right length, which keeps this under tension. It's about the correct place now. A bit too high, I can push it down a wee bit, look. But yeah, that's kind of how it's going to be in the final build. But yeah, that kind of looks about right to me. So now what I've got to do is work out how to mount it to this plate here. Now don't forget, this plate is just straight off the miller. It's not going to be looking like that when it's finished. It'll be machined down and made to look a lot better, hopefully. And then it'll be anodised black, so hopefully it won't look quite so awful. So anyway, let me go get some cardboard and we'll try and work something out. And so after a few minutes of cutting cardboard up and faffing about, we've got a bracket that kind of works for me. So if you imagine this will sit between the frame and this plate here, so it'll be behind the plate, and then what it'll do is it'll come down, So all that will be visible, and all we'll have is this little bit that comes back and holds the exhaust pipe in place. So all I've got to do is make that a bit neater, measure the appropriate distances accurately for a change, and take that information to Jeff the welder. He'll stamp it out on his big machine, and away we go. And now here we are back in my garage, and a few days have gone by, and I've just picked up the new hangers from Jeff. He's now shaped them and machined them, and so now we've zoomed in and hopefully you can see the machining that Jeff's done on this bracket, shaped it and so on, and I must say I'm much happy with the result. Well, here on the brake side, the hanger now looks much better, though I must admit it did take a fair amount of time to machine out these shapes in the hanger, but well worth it, I think, well worth it. And so when it comes to the exhaust pipe and the footrests and the hangers, I've pretty much finished it now. I've just got to get various parts black anodized at some point in the future, but I won't do that until there's a sort of pause in the build while the paintwork's gone away, when nothing much will happen. But there's still lots of small jobs to do. So for example, I've got to fit this. This is the inner plate for the Outrigger system. It's a bit tricky to do, there's some pegs to be made and found. I've got to sort out the spacing for the front sprocket, and indeed the front sprocket's got some weird lock washers that I don't have. I've got to find a set of them. Yes, I've got to do that. I've also got to, where are we? Got to make up the throttle cables using a Venel kit here. This is a twin cable setup. Got to make them up at some point. Pretty boring to watch, so I won't bother with that. And no doubt a million other things to do. But right now I'm in the middle of wiring the bike, and that's why I can't really roll it outside and get a good view of what we've done so far. But all that will be part of another video, so I think we'll end this video here. So thanks for watching, and cheers.